the Wisps is a 2D platforming Metroidvania game and sequel to 2015's Ori and the Blind Forest. This time around it is on Xbox One as well as PC and on Game Pass on both platforms. I played this one on PC, and just to start out, oh wow, it looks incredible, even more so than the last game. I 90-something% completed Blind Forest back in 2015. Will of the Wisps is supposed to be 3 times as large, and having played through, beaten the game like I do with every review, it is at least that big. There are more regions to explore. A lot of the regions are larger. However, following the campaign, you're looking at more like a couple hours more, since a lot of this you don't have to explore. Biggest difference that's relevant with this is the variety of environments. There's much more this time around because you're venturing out of the forest. Being that it's a sequel to the first game, obviously spoilers, but the story starts right after the end of the first game. The owl boss that you fight against, Kuro, has an egg that is left unhatched. It hatches. An owlet named Ku with a damaged wing befriends Ori and his group. Later on, they fix his wing and they set off with Ku and Ori. They get into a storm and then they are separated. So the story begins with Ori looking for Ku outside of the forest, and then from there it gets to the main plot of the game. Big difference with this one is there's a lot more characters compared to the first one that you have dialogue with as well, and this pops up here and there. So the narrative and the story direction is overall stronger, along with the game being bigger too, and there's some story aspects there like side quests that you can also complete. Being a 2D Metroidvania, you have platforming, combat while you are exploring the map. Ori focuses again more so on the platforming. I'd say that's the more difficult side of it. Combat is a bit easier. You have a lot of tools at your disposal, but mainly because the save points are very forgiving. You don't go all the way back to what your last save point. There's little mini checkpoints along the way. Platforming a bit trickier, but as the game gets later on, you get more used to it. Swimming makes a return, along with the biome variety, though. There's a lot more with swimming. They use this for progress, like there's an area where it's contaminated that you have to clean the water. But there's abilities that they added with this one. The core mechanics, though, of Ori are there. It's more of a build type of a thing. So if you played the first one, it's going to be quite a bit easier than if you've never played the first game at all. Boss fights, again, more this time around with more variety. Usually 2 phases. You have a part where you're running away and then one where you're in combat. Here, this is one of the glitches that I noticed. It just repeats its behavior over and over again, so I was stuck. I had to repeat the checkpoint, which fortunately are forgiving. But in terms of glitches overall, not that bad. There were a couple other things that I had, but nothing even remotely game-breaking or anything. Taking a page out of Hollow Knight, this time you have spirit shards, which function similar to the charms in Hollow Knight. These are certain types of abilities you have, or passive abilities, like you may have more health points, or you do more damage, or an enemy takes a percentage of damage back. Certain things like that. And this is good. It makes it a little bit looser since it's not a more difficult game, but it's approachable. Along with that, there is a economy system again, where you get these spirit lights. You can upgrade certain abilities, and there's more of this community hub that develops in the center of the map where you can collect certain things, and then you can either upgrade some of your abilities, or there's little story type of missions that you can complete if you're looking to explore absolutely everything or look for certain items to help different characters. Here's one, for instance, where I collect the different seeds throughout the map. There's another one where you're collecting iron ore that helps the whole village, and then ones that are just scattered around is the different trading items. You get these random items, and then you give them to someone else, and then they give you something, and then someone else needs that item. So that this is your motivation to kind of go around the map. As far as searching, it's not too difficult, though. Lastly, the save points that you have in the map. There are like short checkpoints that save the game. What these do though is they restore your life cells and then your ability cells that you use for your various abilities. Also, you can warp to any of these. You just have to not be in combat for a little bit, and then you can jump immediately to them. So it's just a game of finding these if you want to get to certain points in the map. And it works well for traversal. Even in comparison to the first game, what separates Will of the Wisps compared to other Metroidvanias is the overall presentation with the story, the graphics, the type of graphics that it has, like with the lighting, environmental effects. But the story that they put in with the narrative is very clear now. There's lots of characters. You're going from one thing to another. And then the map design. It doesn't feel like there are any hiccups with it, and it's very approachable to any type of gamer. I recommend the game whether you're buying it or playing it through Game Pass. More so Game Pass because for the majority of the people, it's not going to be that much longer than the first game, like a couple hours, so 8 hours or so-ish. But if you're looking to play it longer, and don't have Game Pass, then buying it can be worth it. Just massive improvements to the story from the first game, which was already good, graphics, and then the platforming is also great. Only negative I'd say is if you played the first game, it's going to be a bit easy. A lot of the stuff is going to be familiar, but there are additions to it to make it more open-ended. And if you're a fan of the Metroidvania genre, you're going to enjoy this. If you are getting this on Game Pass for Xbox One or PC, please check out the links below. Like, subscribe if you like the video, and I will see you next time.